Before you ever took your first breath, your name was already written. Not in ink, not in the fragile memory of man, but in the eternal archives of heaven. Long before your footsteps touched the earth, before your eyes ever opened to see the light of this world, you were already marked. And this is not poetry. This is not a tale to entertain the weary. This is prophecy. Enoch, the one who walked so closely with God that death itself had no claim on him, left words that pierced through time. Words that did not bend to mystery. Words that were not wrapped in riddles, but words that stood sharp, precise, undeniable. And those words point directly, yes, directly to you, to your life, to your destiny, to your calling. This moment is not an accident. You were not guided here by coincidence. You were summoned, called into alignment with a revelation hidden since the ancient days. Today the veil is torn away. Today what was sealed in Enoch's vision begins to unfold before your spirit. This is not about the past. This is about now. And as you hear, as you feel, as you recognize the echo of your own name written in his prophecy, something inside of you will awaken that cannot be silenced again. If this already burns within you, then let your spirit respond. Hit the like button because agreement releases power. Subscribe if you haven't yet, because this word is only the beginning of what heaven is revealing to the chosen ones. And comment 99 is a sign that you are stepping into divine completion, the closing of old cycles and the opening of what was promised before time began. Enoch did not speak of kingdoms that would rise and fall. He did not waste his vision on the empires men would build or the monuments they would crumble. He spoke of something far greater. He saw a people whose identity could never be written on stone tablets, carved into monuments, or sealed with ink. He saw a people who would be marked in a way the world could not measure, an invisible inscription, burned not on their flesh but deep within the eternal substance of their spirit. This mark was not an ornament. It was an unquenchable flame. And this flame, once seen, could never be denied. You have felt it, though you may not have named it. That restless stirring inside of you. The sense that even when surrounded by a crowd, you still stood apart. The constant whisper that there is more. More than this world. More than this moment. More than what eyes can see. That was not imagination. That was evidence. Enoch saw it before you ever lived it. He described them as restless in this world, like travelers who never found a true home, because their origin was not of this soil. They belong to eternity. That explains the ache you have carried since childhood. The nights you stared into the dark, wondering why your heart felt older than your years. That is why the pleasures that satisfy others have always left you empty, why the noise of the age never quieted your soul. Because you were not designed to blend into this age. You were designed to carry eternity inside of time, and eternity is too vast to be satisfied by the temporary. This prophecy was not written for the masses. It was not crafted for every wandering soul. It was directed, with terrifying accuracy, to a chosen remnant, men and women who would not be explained by logic, who would not be defined by culture, who could not be chained by the expectations of this world. You, chosen one, have carried something that made you different long before you understood it. Your very identity is a contradiction to the times you live in. Where others seek comfort, you are stirred by discomfort. Where others chase approval, you crave truth. Where others settle for survival, you hunger for purpose. That difference is not a flaw. It is your seal. The hidden prophecy of your identity is this: your spirit has been branded by the fire of heaven. Not to make you superior, but to make you a sign. You are a living reminder that the unseen realm is more real than the seen. This fire inside you has kept you alive when logic said you should have fallen. It has carried you through storms that should have drowned you. It has burned through betrayals that should have destroyed you. It is the reason you cannot quit, even when you wanted to. Something in you refuses to be extinguished. That something is the evidence of Enoch's vision. But here is the mystery. The world around you cannot see this fire, and because they cannot see it, they have often misjudged you. They have called you too intense, too different, too strange. They have tried to explain away your hunger, your tears, your sensitivity to things no one else notices. But what they dismissed as weakness was actually prophecy in motion. You are living proof of words written before your time, a vessel carrying evidence that God always knew the exact hour you would awaken. And if you listen closely, you will feel the truth pressing deeper. Your restlessness has never been a curse. It has been a compass. Every moment you felt you didn't fit was a signal pointing you back to your origin. Every frustration with the emptiness of the world was a reminder that you were made for something this world cannot give. And every burning inside you that no storm has been able to put out is heaven whispering, "You are marked. You are chosen. You are mine." Now pause and let that reality strike you. You have spent your life searching for explanations, but Enoch already gave you the answer. Your identity is not random. Your difference is not an accident. It was written, sealed, and revealed long before you took your first breath. And if this is true, and it is, then the question that remains is far more dangerous. If your identity was hidden in prophecy, what else did Enoch see about your destiny that is about to unfold? And are you ready to face the weight of it? All your life, you have carried a question you could never quite put into words. Why do I feel this way? Why do I see the world differently than everyone else? Why do I carry this weight in my heart that no one else seems to notice? These are not the questions of someone ordinary. These are the questions of someone set apart. Every time you sat in silence with tears rolling down your face, unable to explain to anyone what was breaking inside you, you were experiencing the very reality Enoch saw centuries ago. He wrote of a people whose spirits would ache in ways that could not be soothed by the temporary comforts of this world. That ache was not punishment, it was prophecy. You were never meant to blend in, and deep down you have always known it. Look back. How many times did you try to silence your fire just to fit in, only to feel more lost? How many times did you bury your voice just to be accepted, but acceptance left you emptier than before? Every attempt to be normal only pushed you further from peace, because you were not designed for normality. You were designed to disrupt it, and that disruption comes with a cost: misunderstanding. People look at you and see contradictions. They sense something they cannot define, and because they cannot define it, they either distance themselves from you or try to diminish you. You've been called too intense, too sensitive, too much. They've mocked your silence. They've questioned your passion. They've tried to cage your uniqueness in their small definitions. But what they rejected was not weakness, it was evidence. Evidence that heaven had already marked you. The loneliness you felt has never been wasted. Those nights where sleep would not come because your spirit was restless. Those moments where you sat in a room full of people and still felt completely unseen. Those were not random accidents of the soul. They were confirmations. Heaven was reminding you that you do not belong fully to this world. That's why you cannot be satisfied with what satisfies everyone else. While others found joy in shallow pursuits, you felt the emptiness underneath. While others ignored the unseen, you felt its weight pressing against your chest. That sensitivity, that ache, that unrest. It has been your compass, guiding you toward the truth of who you are. Enoch saw this. He saw a generation walking through life carrying invisible battles. Tears hidden from the world, but seen clearly in the throne room of God. He saw you, every restless sigh, every silent tear, every moment where you questioned if you were broken. But you are not broken. You are chosen. The very things that made you feel disqualified have been the proof of your qualification. The moments that isolated you have been the fingerprints of heaven on your life. Think about it. If you were not set apart, the world would have embraced you easily. If you were not marked, you would have been able to lose yourself in the noise. But every time you tried to settle, something inside screamed, "This is not who you are." Every time you tried to bury your calling, circumstances shook you awake again. The pain you thought disqualified you has actually been training you. The silence you thought was abandonment has been consecration. And the restlessness you thought was weakness has been heaven's way of saying, "You are mine. You cannot stay where others stay. You cannot settle where others settle. You cannot live what others call life. This is why your path has been narrow, why your nights have been heavy, why your heart has often been misunderstood. You are not different by mistake. You are different by design. The loneliness you carry is the echo of your true home calling you back. The ache in your chest is the fire of eternity reminding you that you belong to a kingdom not of this world. And here lies the mystery. The very things you once begged God to take away are the very signs that prove His hand has always been on you. And now, here is the truth you cannot ignore. If your difference was written in prophecy, then it carries a purpose too great to remain hidden. If the tears that no one understood were seen by heaven, then they are about to become the seeds of revelation. And if every restless night was preparation, then something is about to break open in your life that will explain why you could never fit, why you could never be satisfied, why you could never stop searching. You are not ordinary. You never were, and the world is about to see why. But here is the question that should make your spirit tremble. If all your difference has been confirmation, what is it confirming you are being prepared for? What destiny is so heavy, so undeniable, that heaven had to set you apart this violently to prepare you for it? And when it arrives, will you be ready to step into it without fear? Every invisible battle you faced has carried a weight you did not understand at the time. The nights of anxiety when your chest felt like it was collapsing under a pressure you couldn't name. The sudden storms that appeared out of nowhere, shaking everything you thought was stable. The seasons of warfare where you wondered, why me? Why this intensity? Why does the darkness keep pressing against me? These were not random attacks. These were not meaningless torments. They were signals. Evidence that your destiny is not something small, fragile, or forgettable. It is monumental. It carries a weight that forces both heaven and hell to pay attention. Enoch spoke of a people who would be refined in battles no one else could see. Wars waged not on the battlefield of nations, but in the hidden territory of the spirit. He foresaw men and women who would endure unseen clashes because their visible destiny was too great to remain unnoticed. And you, chosen one, have been walking in that prophecy. The struggles that no one around you could see were never wasted pain. They were prophecy unfolding in real time. You thought your scars disqualified you, but in truth, they are your credentials. Every wound you carry is not a symbol of shame, but of survival. Hell did everything it could to crush you, and yet here you are, still standing. That survival is not ordinary. It is supernatural, because the weight of your calling demanded that you be tested in fires most people could not endure. What broke others could not break you. What destroyed others only sharpened you. That is not chance, that is evidence. Evidence that you are marked. Evidence that hell fears your future so much that it had to attack you before you even stepped into it. Think about this. If your life carried no threat, why would darkness waste its energy trying to destroy you? If your destiny was insignificant, why would storms rise against you with such precision? The truth is, the pressure you have felt has always been a reflection of the power you carry. The greater the destiny, the more violent the resistance. And your resistance has been relentless, because your future has been extraordinary. Every tear you shed in silence was recorded. Every battle you fought when no one was watching was seen. The angels who guarded you in those darkest moments know how close you came to collapse, but they also know why you could not. Heaven sealed your victory long before the war began. You were never fighting to earn survival, you were fighting to reveal it. Each time you walked through the storm and made it out alive, prophecy advanced. Each time you resisted the weight of despair and chose to rise again, destiny shifted closer. Every invisible war has been part of a greater unveiling of who you really are. And here is the revelation you need to embrace. Your scars are not just remnants of pain, they are proof of your authority. When you walk into new battles, the scars you carry will speak louder than words. They declare, "This one has been through fire and survived." They intimidate the enemy before you even speak. They remind hell that every attempt to break you has only proven heaven's claim on your life. That is why the enemy fears you, because every battle you have endured has not weakened you. It has legitimized you. So the next time you look back at the storms that nearly drowned you, do not see failure. See prophecy. The moments you thought were endings were actually beginnings. The anxiety that tried to paralyze you was a test of your endurance. The storms that shook your foundation were training you to stand unshakable. The invisible wars were heaven's way of showing you. Your visible destiny will shake nations. So you must first learn to withstand storms in silence. And yet, here is the mystery that lingers. If every battle you endured was not just struggle, but prophecy unfolding, then what exactly are these scars preparing you to carry? If hell fought you this violently before you even reached the fullness of your calling, what kind of future must be waiting on the other side? Could it be that the fiercest wars you endured were not signs of weakness, but signs that your destiny will alter the course of countless lives? And if that is true, then the next season of your life is not just survival, it is revelation. And what is about to be revealed will silence every storm that ever rose against you. There is a reason you have survived storms that should have buried you. There is a reason you have carried strength when everything around you was collapsing. It is not luck. It is not chance. It is the seal of fire. Enoch saw it, and he wrote of it. A mark resting upon the chosen, an invisible flame that cannot be purchased, copied, or erased. This seal is not something you earned through effort. It was stamped upon you before you had language to describe it. It is the invisible signature of heaven itself, branding your spirit as set apart, untouchable by the powers of darkness, undeniable in the eyes of eternity. That is why your life has defied explanation. When others went through similar storms and lost everything, you emerged with something unbreakable still burning inside you. That fire was not your own. It was the seal. When betrayal should have crushed your heart, when despair should have silenced your voice, when hopelessness should have swallowed you whole, something inside refused to die. That something is the mark Enoch spoke of. The seal of fire is proof that your story has never belonged to the world. It has always belonged to heaven. Understand this. The world cannot see the seal, but the spirit realm does. Angels recognize it. Demons tremble before it. The seal announces your identity louder than words ever could. It declares to the unseen realm, "This one belongs to heaven. This one carries authority. This one is untouchable by the final grip of death." It is not a symbol, it is a weapon. The seal of fire shields you in moments you didn't even realize you were under attack. It guards your life in ways you may never fully understand until eternity. Every time the enemy tried to destroy you and failed, it was because the seal was already written into your destiny. And yet this seal does more than protect. It separates. It draws a line between you and the ordinary. That is why you could never live like everyone else. Why mediocrity never felt comfortable. Why compromise always burned your conscience. You are not like the rest. You carry heaven's brand. And that means you are called to stand where others fall, to shine where others hide, to speak when others remain silent. The seal of fire not only marks you as chosen, it marks you as a carrier of light in a world that prefers shadows. But here is the truth that will unsettle your spirit. This seal has made you both targeted and untouchable. Targeted because hell recognizes your potential. Untouchable because heaven has already declared your end from the beginning. Every attack against you has been the result of the seal, but every survival, every triumph, every time you rose from ashes, those too were the result of the seal. You cannot erase it and you cannot escape it. It binds you to your calling with a force stronger than your doubts and fiercer than your fears. Think of it this way. The seal is not only a mark of who you are, but also of what you carry. It is heaven's endorsement stamped upon your soul, declaring you as a vessel of something eternal. And though the world may never understand it, the spirit realm cannot ignore it. That is why you have felt the weight of constant resistance. That is why you have felt the strange mixture of being unseen by people but targeted by darkness. Because the seal speaks louder in realms that eyes cannot perceive. And here lies the burning question. If the seal of fire has preserved you through storms, if it has announced your name in heaven, if it has terrified hell itself, then what is it preparing you for? Why would God place such an irreversible mark upon you unless something unimaginable was about to demand its power? If the seal sets you apart from the ordinary, then what extraordinary reality is waiting just beyond this moment? And if you truly are sealed with fire, how long can you keep that fire contained before it consumes everything around you and reveals the fullness of who you really are? This is the hour Enoch spoke of, the moment when what has been concealed within you begins to stir, pressing against the walls of your spirit, demanding release. You may have believed your destiny was something far ahead, waiting at some distant point in the future, but the truth is far more unsettling. Your purpose has never been ahead of you. It has been alive inside you since before the foundations of the earth. It has pulsed quietly in your veins, hidden beneath layers of survival, fear, and distraction, waiting for the moment heaven would whisper, "Now." That moment is here. Every scar you carry has been more than pain. It has been a chiseling. Every battle you fought in silence has been more than struggle. It has been shaping. Every restless night when your soul tossed as if it were too heavy for your body has been more than insomnia. It has been the sound of eternity knocking, reminding you that you were not created to live as ordinary. You were created to unveil something the world has not yet seen. And now the veil is lifting. The hidden is awakening. Enoch foresaw this hour. He spoke of a generation that would rise not by position or power, but by revelation. They would not be crowned by men, but awakened by God. He saw a people who had walked through darkness long enough that when the light finally broke inside them, it would burn with a brilliance that could not be denied. That brilliance is not coming to you, it is erupting from within you. You have carried it, buried it, resisted it, even doubted it, but you could never destroy it. Because it was placed inside you by the one who holds time itself in his hands. This awakening is not gentle. It comes like fire breaking through stone, like a river tearing open dry ground. It disrupts everything familiar, because it refuses to let you remain small. And perhaps this explains the intensity of your recent battles. The warfare has been fiercest right before this unveiling. Because the enemy knew something you did not, that once you awaken, you cannot be stopped. Once the hidden becomes revealed, your life will no longer be defined by what you've endured, but by what you carry. And here is the revelation. Your life is not shifting into something new. It is revealing what was always there. The calling you longed for is not arriving from the outside. It is exploding from the inside. You will begin to notice it in subtle ways. A deeper clarity in your thoughts, a fire in your prayers, an authority in your words, a weight in your presence. People will not be able to explain it, but they will feel it. You will no longer enter rooms quietly. You will shift the atmosphere when you arrive. Because when what has been hidden awakens, it cannot be contained. But with this awakening comes urgency. You can no longer live as you once did. You cannot return to the silence that once kept you comfortable. You cannot pretend to be blind to what you now see. The fire within you will not allow it. Every scar has been transformed into authority. Every battle has been transfigured into strength. Every restless night has become fuel for the mission ahead. What once felt like wasted suffering now stands as proof that nothing in your journey was ever wasted. It was all preparation for this unveiling, and yet the question rises like thunder in the distance. If what Enoch saw is awakening in you right now, then what will happen when it fully manifests? What will change in your life, in your family, in your city, when the fire you've carried in secret bursts into the open? Will you be ready to bear the weight of it? Or will you tremble under the realization that you are far more powerful, far more called, far more necessary than you ever imagined? This is no coincidence. This is the unveiling. And once you see it, once you feel it, once you embrace it, you will never look at your life the same again. The question that remains is this: if you are awakening now, then what exactly are you awakening into? Chosen one, this is the moment where eternity presses into your present. You cannot leave this word untouched because it was never meant to simply be heard. It was meant to pierce, to awaken, to ignite. Enoch's vision is not some distant mystery locked in ancient scrolls. It is staring back at you in the mirror of your soul. You are the prophecy. You are the evidence. You are the living fulfillment of words spoken before the sun ever rose for the first time. Before the foundations of the world, you were written. Before storms ever sought to drown you, you were sealed with fire. Before battles scarred your life, victory was already etched into your destiny. This is why you survived what others did not. This is why you carried a weight that felt unbearable but never crushed you. Heaven has been preparing you, chiseling you, refining you for such a time as this. And now, heaven's voice thunders with urgency. Rise, declare, awaken, do not shrink back. Do not silence what was created to roar. The world has been waiting for what you carry, even if it never knew how to name it. This is not coincidence, it is alignment. This is not chance, it is divine timing. The seal of fire has marked you publicly before the spirit realm. Angels recognize it. Darkness fears it, and now you must embody it, so speak it. Release it. Let it echo into the atmosphere and shake the foundations of your reality. Write it boldly in the comments as a declaration to heaven and a warning to hell. I am marked. Every time you declare it, the unseen realm trembles because it knows what that means. You belong to eternity, and nothing can erase that truth. Chosen one, your true name in heaven has been unveiled. Nothing will silence it again. Nothing will bury it again. Nothing will chain it again. You are rising. You are burning. You are unstoppable. The seal of fire is upon you, and the hour of unveiling has come. Step into it with faith. Step into it with fire. Step into it with the unshakable knowledge that you are not walking toward your calling. You are walking in it. And from this moment forward, everything changes.